Joshua, thanks for being with us. We sure do appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about your growth there at the Times, at Epoch Times.
It's been huge and honestly kind of unexpected, because in our eyes we're just doing kind of just normal journalism, but go figure, there's a big market for that these days.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah. Does anybody know what it is? That's the, when they're, I hope that when people hear and read you guys, they know that it is the way it's supposed to be and the way it used to be many years ago.
Well, our stance at Epoch Times is, you don't need to twist the facts to make a point. That if your objective is truth, and our slogan is truth and tradition, if your objective is truth, you don't need to twist things around to portray that. Really what happens is, if you just state the truth in its full context, and you show people what really happened in the full context of what happened, naturally it's going to expose what is untrue. And really, I think this is why a lot of the big media have been attacking us, a lot of the legacy news outlets have been attacking us, because our statements of truth really expose a lot of false narratives that they've been pushing. And really, what a lot of news is these days is just advocacy journalism. It starts with their thesis or their conclusion, and they just pin facts onto it.
Yeah, it's ideologically driven. For somebody like you, it's easy, it should be easy for other people to see, oh my gosh, if this news agency is right, then what am I listening to? What am I watching?
Well, and what I find too is that sometimes you just have to state the facts and stick with them. Even if people don't initially believe you, even if initially they don't want to look at you, even if initially they don't want to support you. I can tell you my own work since 2008. I've been investigating and exposing the Chinese Communist Party's United Front, which is how they subvert political systems, businesses, colleges, academics, journalists, you name it. When I first started publishing these investigative stories on this back in 2008, nobody believed me. It was a fringe of the fringe talking about Chinese subversion, because nobody was talking about it. In fact, some of the first government reports on it heavily cited my articles because there was nothing else. But over time, people start listening here and there, or maybe they disbelieve you at first, but then they start seeing evidence that substantiates what you've been telling them. And then maybe it takes a few years, they start saying, well, maybe you guys were right. And sometimes it just happens like that. As long as you consistently tell the truth, over time, a lot of people will come to see it.
Yeah. Well, it's doing the investigative work so that you can get to the truth, too. It isn't as easy as it might sound. I don't want to make it sound like your job's easy and all you do is expose the truth. You have to find it. You have to investigate. You've got to stick to the stories. You got to dig deep, and so that's in and of itself a very, very innovative thing in the news, sad to say.
Well, this is what happens in the news industry. A story breaks. Typically, a lot of the mainstream news outlets, New York Times or Washington Post, get the pre-release story, and then they write a story that shapes the narrative. And typically, every article after that just follows that narrative. At Epoch Times, we don't actually allow our reporters to report on rumors, and we also don't let them just follow the narrative other media use. We require them to go and read the sources themselves, to go into things, to state how they know things, to state where there's information missing, and to really think for themselves and come to their own conclusions based on the facts, not on preformed narrative. And so people oftentimes, when they read our paper, they see that our narrative, if you want to call it that, is very different from what other media are portraying.
So how do you penetrate into the world of communist China? How do you do that to get the facts?
So we've been blacklisted from the get-go. Actually, in 2000, when Epoch Times started, we actually had a Chinese office. They were all arrested. Our editor spent 10 years in prison, and he was tortured. But over time, like I said, people in China have started seeing that we tell the truth. Even though we're blacklisted, they actually import pallets of our paper, and people use circumvention software to access us. They've seen that what we say is true, and so anytime someone wants to get information out, anytime someone wants to defect, we're the only media they trust. And so we get a lot of leaked documents, inside sources, you name it.
Hey, remember, to click the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.